Imagine being such a model citizen that you become an Eagle Scout, earn a master's degree in engineering, and dream of changing the world for the better. Now imagine using all that potential to build a $1.2 billion criminal empire from your laptop. In 2011, that's exactly what Ross Ulbricht did. But this isn't just a story about drugs and dark web markets. It's about how a brilliant mind's pursuit of an idealistic dream transformed him from a peaceful libertarian into a digital kingpin willing to order hits on anyone who threatened his empire. Before we dive into this incredible story, take a moment to subscribe to our channel for more fascinating true crime stories that shaped the digital age. Hit that bell icon to never miss an upload. Austin, Texas, 1984. Ross Ulbricht was born into a typical middle-class American family. Growing up with his parents, Kirk and Lynn, and sister Kayla, Ross wasn't just a good kid. He was exceptional. He earned top grades, but what he did outside the classroom was even more impressive. As a Boy Scout, Ross swore an oath to help others and stay morally straight. He took these values so seriously that he achieved the prestigious rank of Eagle Scout, awarded only to scouts with the highest character. Thanks to his academic excellence, Ross earned a scholarship to the University of Texas at Dallas, majoring in physics. From there, he landed another scholarship at Penn State for a master's in materials science and engineering. He was on track for a PhD and a promising career in science, but something happened during his time at Penn State that would alter his path forever and eventually lead to his downfall. In 2008, Ross became involved in campus discussions about freedom and liberty. The core idea was simple. Everyone owns their body and life, so they should be free to make their own choices. As long as they're not hurting anyone else, people should be able to do whatever they want. It was a libertarian philosophy that resonated deeply with Ross. But here's where things get interesting. Ross took this idea further than anyone expected. He became convinced that government restrictions on what people could buy and sell were fundamentally wrong. In Ross's mind, if someone wanted to consume substances, that was their choice, not the government's. This belief would soon drive him to create something unprecedented, a completely anonymous online marketplace where people could buy and sell anything without government interference. After finishing his master's in 2009, Ross moved back to Austin to try his hand at entrepreneurship. But his first ventures were far from successful. He tried day trading but lacked the capital to make it work. He attempted to start a video game company, but that failed too. In his journal, Ross wrote, "I felt ashamed of where my life was. I left my promising career as a scientist to be an investment advisor and entrepreneur and came up empty-handed." Ross found temporary success working at Good Wagon Books, selling used books online. But he hadn't forgotten his dream of creating a truly free market. Ross's big idea was revolutionary: create a website where people could buy anything anonymously, with no trail leading back to them. But to make this work, he needed to solve three major problems: how to keep users anonymous, how to handle untraceable payments, and how to attract criminals to a brand new platform they'd never heard of. The solution to the first problem was the dark web, a hidden part of the internet where sites can't be traced to their owners. For payments, Ross turned to Bitcoin, a newly emerging cryptocurrency that could provide anonymous transactions. But the third problem, finding sellers, would require Ross to get creative. Using the username Altoid, Ross began posting on internet forums, pretending to be just a regular guy who'd stumbled across this amazing new website called Silk Road. "I came across this website," he wrote, acting surprised. "It's a tour-hidden service that claims to allow you to buy and sell anything anonymously." It was marketing genius, and it worked. At first, Silk Road only sold one product: mushrooms Ross had grown himself. But soon, other vendors started listing their products. The site was organized like any other e-commerce platform, complete with seller ratings, customer reviews, and detailed product descriptions. Ross even created seller guides to ensure products wouldn't be detected during shipping. But success came with a price. His relationship with his girlfriend Julia began to crumble. They'd met at Penn State, and she'd even left school to move to Austin with him. But when Ross told her about Silk Road, she was horrified, as he spent more and more time in their bedroom on his computer, working practically 24/7. Their relationship deteriorated. Julia later said, "Probably one of the main reasons why we broke up was because I felt like he put this insane pressure on me to keep this insane secret." Just as Ross was dealing with this personal loss, Silk Road caught the attention of the media. In June 2011, a blog called Gawker published an article about the site that went viral. Suddenly, Millions of new customers were flooding in. Ross wrote in his journal, "Silk Road got its first press. You can see right when it happened. A huge spike in sign-ups, but with publicity came danger. The US government was now aware of Silk Road, and law enforcement agencies were determined to shut it down." Ross wrote, "The US government, my main enemy, was aware of me, and some of its members were calling for my destruction." That's when Ross met someone who would change everything. A mysterious figure known as Variety Jones. Jones became Ross's criminal mentor, teaching him how to improve Silk Road's security and boost sales. Most importantly, Jones suggested Ross adopt a new persona, Dread Pirate Roberts, named after a character from the Princess Bride movie. Like the fictional character, the name could pass from person to person, making it harder to track the real owner. Under his new identity, Ross became bolder. He hired remote workers to help manage the site, demanding they scan their real IDs as a loyalty test. He added stronger encryption to his computer and even applied for citizenship in countries that might hide him and his millions. But in 2013, everything started to unravel. A Silk Road employee named Curtis Clark Green was arrested in a DEA sting operation. What happened next would show just how far Ross had strayed from his Eagle Scout values. After Green's arrest, someone using his account stole $350,000 in Bitcoin from Silk Road. What Ross didn't know was that the thief was actually corrupt DEA agent Sean Bridges. Ross turned to his mentor, Variety Jones, for advice. Jones suggested the ultimate punishment, having Green killed. Ross agreed, writing, "I would have no problem wasting this guy." He hired what he thought was a hitman, actually another corrupt DEA agent, Carl Force, and paid $80,000 for the job. The agent sent staged photos of Green's death, using Campbell's chicken soup as fake blood. This was Ross's first attempted murder for hire, but not his last. When a user called Friendly Chemist tried to blackmail him for $500,000, threatening to leak thousands of Silk Road user identities, Ross allegedly hired another hitman. He paid $150,000 in Bitcoin to have the blackmailer killed. Over time, Ross would allegedly order hits on 4 more people who crossed him. The idealistic libertarian who wanted to give people freedom had become a digital crime lord, willing to have people killed to protect his empire. As one investigator later said,
"The idea of it growing, he liked the idea. I mean, I think it started off as sharing this idea, but then he really did turn to, like, I am the captain of this ship, and that's what goes."
But while Ross thought he was untouchable, the FBI was closing in, and his downfall would come from the most unlikely source: a simple Google search. In the summer of 2013, FBI agents discovered a tiny flaw in Silk Road's code that leaked the IP address of the site's server in Iceland. Instead of immediately shutting it down, they made a mirror copy, allowing them to spy on every transaction, message, and activity. The server revealed something crucial. It was being operated by a user called Frosty. But the real breakthrough came from an unlikely source: IRS investigator Gary Alford, sitting at his desk with nothing but Google. Alford had a hunch. He wanted to find the very first mention of Silk Road online. His search led him to posts from early 2011 by a user called Altoid, who was suspiciously enthusiastic about this new website. Following Altoid's post history, Alford found something extraordinary: a job posting where Altoid had asked interested programmers to contact ross@gmail.com. Further digging led Alford to Stack Overflow, a website for programmers. There, he found a post by Ross Ulbricht asking about Tor hidden services, the exact technology Silk Road used. But here was the smoking gun. Ross had initially posted under his real name, then quickly changed his username to Frosty, the same name running the Silk Road server. By October 2013, the FBI was ready to move, but they faced a crucial challenge. They needed to catch Ross logged into Silk Road as Dread Pirate Roberts. One wrong move, and he could encrypt or destroy his laptop, erasing all evidence. The opportunity came on October 1st, 2013. Ross was at his usual spot, in a San Francisco public library, surrounded by undercover FBI agents posing as ordinary patrons. Using a seized employee account, agents sent Ross a message requiring him to log in as administrator. As Ross typed away, 2 agents staged a loud argument to distract him. In that split second, another agent grabbed Ross's laptop from behind. When Ross turned to grab it, he was bear-hugged by yet another agent. The FBI had what they needed. Ross was logged in as Dread Pirate Roberts. His laptop contained everything: fake IDs, chat logs, and most damaging of all, his personal journal detailing his operation of Silk Road. The trial began in January 2015. Ross's defense team claimed he'd created Silk Road as a harmless economic experiment, but had handed it over to others who turned it criminal. They argued the real Dread Pirate Roberts had framed Ross. So confident was Ross in this defense that he turned down a 10-year plea deal. But the evidence was overwhelming. His journal entries clearly showed him running the site. Prosecutors traced over $13 million in direct transactions from Silk Road to Ross's Bitcoin wallet. While they couldn't prove the murder-for-hire attempts were successful, prosecutors highlighted 6 Silk Road customers who had died from substances purchased on the site. Their parents testified, putting a human face on the tragedy Ross had enabled. On February 5, 2015, Ross was found guilty on all 7 charges. Before sentencing, he wrote a letter to the judge. "I understand what a terrible mistake I made. I've had my youth, and I know you must take away my middle years, but please leave me my old age. Please leave a small light at the end of the tunnel." But the judge was unmoved, calling Silk Road terribly destructive to our social fabric. She sentenced Ross to double life imprisonment plus 40 years, without the possibility of parole. The Boy Scout who wanted to change the world would spend the rest of his life behind bars. Today, Ross's case raises profound questions about technology, freedom, and unintended consequences. His creation showed how technology could bypass traditional authority, but also how idealistic dreams can spiral into darkness. The billions in Silk Road transactions prove the power of cryptocurrency and anonymous markets, while also revealing their potential for harm. Some see Ross as a political prisoner, punished for creating a website that challenged government control. Others view him as a dangerous criminal who enabled addiction and death while ordering hits on his enemies. But perhaps the truth is more complex. He's a cautionary tale of how noble intentions can lead us down dark paths, one small choice at a time. The Silk Road is gone, but its legacy lives on. The dark web marketplace model Ross created has been copied hundreds of times. Bitcoin, which Silk Road helped popularize, has become a trillion-dollar asset class. And questions about online privacy, government control, and personal freedom are more relevant than ever. If you found this story fascinating, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on notifications. We've got more incredible stories about technology, crime, and the people who changed the digital world forever. Leave a comment below. Was Ross Ulbricht a freedom fighter or a criminal mastermind? Did his punishment fit his crimes? And could something like Silk Road happen again? Or has technology evolved too far? Remember, the choices we make today shape who we become tomorrow. Ross Ulbricht's journey from Eagle Scout to digital drug lord shows how small compromises can lead to unimaginable consequences. Sometimes the path to darkness starts with the noblest intentions.